thebobbypin.com.
Hey everyone, it's Lauren with thebobbypin.com, and we're here today with actor Nate Parker and director Gina Prince-Bythewood of the new film Beyond the Lights. How are you two today?
Great. Thank you.
Great. So Gina, we know you directed Love and Basketball, which is definitely a favorite of mine, and I'm sure I'm not going to be the only person running to the theaters to see Beyond the Lights. Can we look forward to some of the things that we fell in love with from Love and Basketball? Or is this film completely different?
Well, I hope it's another love story that people respond to. I really did, after Love and Basketball, wanted to do another love story and put that in the world. It does deal with two characters who are saving each other. You follow both the female story and the male story, so hopefully guys will dig it as well. And again, it's amazing to me as a filmmaker that Love and Basketball caught on the way it did. You could only dream of that, and I hope the same thing for this.
So what is it about love stories that attracts you most? Like, why is that kind of an ongoing theme for your career?
I know I like to go to movies that wreck me. I'm watching, I'm so caught up in the characters and the story, and I'm crying and I'm laughing and I leave inspired. And honestly, I just want to write what I want to see.
Absolutely. So in Love and Basketball, we saw you bring out the best in leading lady, Sanaa Lathan. And in this film, you're actually working with Gugu Mbatha-Raw. And from my understanding, she does not have a musical background. So what was it like working around that, as well as her British accent?
Mm-hmm. Well, she has a musical background, but it's musical theater and ballet, which is not what she did at all in Beyond the Lights. So it was really, she comes from overseas, and it was actually her being British that changed the script, because it was originally written as an American artist, and I just thought that her being British made the film more interesting, and I thought it brought a lot out in her as well, of being able to be authentic to who she is. So really, for me as a director, it was surrounding her with people from the real world, and that was really important. Lorianne Gibson was her choreographer, and I knew I wanted her early on because she worked with Lady Gaga and Nicki Minaj. Getting the Dream to do the music, that was huge. So she was in the studio with the Dream. Kim Kimble did the hair, and Kim Kimble does Beyonce and Shakira. Anita Gibson did makeup. She used to do Lauryn Hill. So again, it was really surrounding her with the real world. And then it was a matter of, as Lorianne said, making her ratchet and teaching her all of what that is, because that would be Noni's world. And we went to concerts and we went to clubs, and she was just in the studio for hours and hours learning that, and then also showing her tons and tons of music videos, some which were embarrassing for me to send to her, and I really at times was thinking, God, what is she thinking? But the same way that Sanaa never played ball before, but she's such a great actress. She dove into it. Gugu, same way. We developed this character for 2 years, and she just dove into it and wanted to portray the world realistically and authentically, and I think she killed it.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about Gugu's development on set. Nate, how was it working with actors of the caliber of a Danny Glover or a Minnie Ryder? I'm sure it was a lot like being in a sort of actor's workshop. So what was it like being on set?
Well, one of the things Gina says, she always says, being a filmmaker, directing 75% casting. And, when she told me she had Danny Glover and Minnie Driver, I just knew, they were going to be huge assets to the project. And I remember my first rehearsal with Danny Glover. And it's an interesting thing, because you sit down, he walks into a room, and it's like, okay, here's your son and here's your dad, go. And he had such insight. He was so excited. He had so many great ideas, and we hit it off right in that moment. And then, from that moment on, up until now, I called him Pop and he called me son. So it was a great relationship, a healthy relationship, something that I think that young men will see and hope for, and and adults, men will see and hope for. So I feel like they'll, hopefully there'll be relationships that are reconnected and strengthened from the relationship they see from this. And then working with Minnie, it's so funny because when you meet her, she's so opposite that character. She's so kind and she's so funny. She just makes jokes all the time. She's so down to earth. She'll just sit and hang and talk with you for as long as you're there. And then she'll step into work, ready to work, and she'll just make you think that she is this controlling, conniving, manipulative person that at the root of it only wants the best for her daughter. So, kudos goes to Gina for putting together this cast and writing a script that we all believed in, and it was a no-brainer for all of us to be a part of.
Your filmography, we see a lot of A-list actors a part of your cast. What kind of goes into you selecting your actors?
When I write, I usually have in mind who I want, and I put them up on my board, and it really inspires the writing and also feeds the characters because I can start hearing their voices in my head. There's never a guarantee that I can get them, but you want to reach high. This was interesting because this film, I knew a little bit of who I wanted, but not to the extent of what the cast ended up being. And for this, it was exciting to be able to put together this ensemble that all had such great chemistry. And it's great to work with someone like Minnie and Danny because they make you step up your game as a director. They've been around for so long. They've worked with some great directors, and you have to be on point or you'll be exposed very quickly. And then working with Nate and Gugu, who are a little early in the career, but the chops are the same, and it's just exciting to work with people that are all in.
So your character is police officer. He's definitely a good guy. He's there to support Noni during her suicide attempt. He has political aspirations. As a leading male black role in particular, what about the character drew you to the script, and how did you, well, what do you hope rather watchers or moviegoers will get from your character?
Well, if I had to, offer a takeaway, is that there's still room for integrity. There's still room for dignity, self-respect. There's still room for respecting women and honoring relationships. Far too often we attach negativity to our young men, and we attach negativity to all cops. And I think that he stands in the position that I am my own person, and I will operate with my own moral compass, and it allows him to operate in that space with Noni and with his father. You don't see him. That was one thing that we probably never talked about. When I read the role, there was nothing about him that was cliche or stereotypical. That was a simple archetype. It was three-dimensional. And it wasn't just a guy showing up with muscles that saved a girl, a damsel in distress. She had a real voice, and he needed saving too because he was about to step into a world that he didn't want to live in. So, I just think that I hope people take away his ideology, his moral compass. That he wasn't perfect, but in everything he did, he tried. Hello, my name is Nate Parker.
And I'm Gina Prince-Bythewood.
We're here representing Beyond the Lights, and you're rocking with thebobbypin.com. I'm good at that.
Thank you, guys.
thebobbypin.com.